What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, I'm doing my best in boxing series. This is on the number 3's, all the way from every division from 122 all the way to heavyweight. It's 12 divisions. Just going to give you an update on what the best fighters are doing going forward. Again, I do the best in boxing every couple months. Just kind of give you an update on, the best fighters in boxing and what they got coming up soon and down the road. So let's kick it off. Number 3 fighter at 122 pounds, a former unified champion, Daniel Roman. Well, Roman, he hasn't fought since September of last year, and it's kind of up in the air still what he's going to do. I fully believe that Roman's he's going to fight one of 3 opponents. It's either going to be Luis Nery for the WBC belt, undefeated Stephen Fulton for the WBO belt, or Brandon Figueroa, undefeated Brandon Figueroa for the WBA regular title. I think he's going to fight one of those 3 because he's with the PBC now, and it makes the most sense. Now, I know Nery is still trying to decide if he's fighting Brandon Figueroa next. I know that was a rumor about a month ago that fight could be possible. Haven't heard anything since. But I do think Roman's a very strong name for Nery. And then with Stephen Fulton, Stephen Fulton was calling out, Daniel Roman said that he believes he can beat Stephen Fulton after Fulton beat Angelo Leo to capture the WBO belt. So I really think that Roman's going to get one of those guys. That's my opinion. I think Brandon Figueroa is ready to take on a fighter of Roman's level if Nery doesn't want to fight Roman or fight Figueroa. So I think somewhere in that mix, Roman's going to get one of those guys. So that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping we hear something soon since it's been 6 months, over 6 months now since Roman last fought. Okay, number 3 at 126 pounds featherweight is former IBF champion Josh Warrington. Well, Josh Warrington got his ass knocked out in February after he vacated the belt. He took on little-known Mauricio Lara and got his ass whipped and got laid out in that fight. First loss of his career. The rumor since then has been that he could be fighting Lara in an immediate rematch, but the earliest that fight would take place is probably after the summer, so probably the fall. We don't know. We'll see. I really am up in the air about it. I think he could go right back to it, or he could wait on it. Given the way Dillian White looked after he beat Alexander Povetkin in their rematch, maybe that'll boost Josh Warrington's confidence to get back in there and shake off that loss to Lara. So we'll see. I don't really think we're going to hear anything soon, though, on that. Okay, number 3 at 130 pounds is former longtime WBC champion Miguel Berchelt. Berchelt got his ass knocked out in February also against undefeated Oscar Valdez. Valdez, had a name, but I don't think anybody thought he was going to put the performance on Berchelt that he did, and he absolutely dominated Miguel Berchelt in that fight. Picked him apart, beat him to the punch. Berchelt had some moments, but they were very few and far between, and he got laid out cold in the 10th round. I think Berchelt, he's still young. He's still like 29, 30. I still think Berchelt's got a lot left in the tank, and I think he's going to bounce back. I do believe he could come back at 130, and still be a threat. But I really think at some point he's going to move up to 135. I always felt he was a big junior lightweight at 130. So I really think at some point he'll be at 135 pounds trying to make a dent there. And it could come as soon as next. So we just got to wait and see what he decides to do. But I don't think we're going to see Berchelt back until probably before the end of the year. Okay, number 3 at 135 pounds, lightweight, is the undefeated WBA regular lightweight champion, Gervonta Tank Davis. Well, Davis, his last fight took place at 130 where he won a world title, knocking out Leo Santa Cruz. Now Davis is talking about, the rumor is that Davis could be moving up 10 pounds between fights and fighting at 140 pounds, trying to win a secondary world title there against Mario Barrios. Now, that news was released probably a little less than a month ago, or around a month ago. Haven't heard anything since, so we don't know if that's for sure, but that rumor has not been debunked either. So very possible that he could be moving up to 140 which surprising me because he's putting himself at risk, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get some news on that before the next report. Number 3 at 140 pounds, junior welterweight, is the former junior welterweight champion, Regis Prograis. Prograis is set to return on Saturday, April 17th on a Triller pay-per-view undercard when he does battle against Ivan Redkach, the veteran. I like this matchup right here. I don't like that it's on a Triller undercard with Jake Paul in the main event, but, you know, people are going to tune in to watch Jake Paul fight. Whether he's a real boxer or not, they're going to tune in to watch that. And Prograis will get, you know, he'll get featured. And he's in the co-feature taking on a tough veteran in Ivan Redkach, you know. I think Prograis is going to win by knockout, but Redkach is not a pushover. You know, he went 12 rounds with Danny Garcia last year. So he's not an easy out by no means. And Prograis will have to work for the victory, but I think he'll work for it. I think he'll get it. I think he's going to knock him out. And I think he'll move forward, hopefully towards something bigger later in the year. That's April 17th on Triller pay-per-view. Number 3 at 147 pounds is the former 8-division world champion, the Pac-Man Manny Pacquiao. Well, the recent news just a couple days ago is that Pacquiao is seriously considering fighting Terrence Crawford in Dubai for Crawford's WBO title, and June 5th would be the date. So I think I'm not going to believe that this fight is going to happen until it's signed and sealed. But I think it is possible these two guys could fight. And the reason I think that is because, you know, I don't think this fight would even be seriously being considered if Pacquiao wasn't interested. And I think Pacquiao's trying to cash out with a big payday, because people don't realize that, and I went over this with the news on Pacquiao and Crawford possibly happening. When Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz fought in their rematch in Dubai, oh my God, did those guys cash in and make a shitload of money. They're going to pay a guy like Pacquiao and a guy like Crawford to come over and fight. So Pacquiao would get a huge payday over there, and he'd have a shot and a chance to prove himself against one of the pound-for-pound best. So that is in serious discussion right now. I hope it happens. Hopefully by the next report, that fight is good to go. You know, or we at least know what Manny is going to do next. Okay, number 3 at 154 pounds, super welterweight, is the former unified champion, Jarrett Hurd. Haven't heard anything on Hurd and what he's doing next. Very disappointed. He hasn't fought since January of last year, which was a comeback fight against Francisco Santana. So I like Jarrett Hurd a lot. I have for a few years now, and I'm disappointed we haven't seen him. I think that's a combination of him trying to get a big fight and a lot of the guys avoiding him. But he's got to get back in the ring and fight. That's just got to happen. I know there was a rumor about him coming back, but haven't heard anything concrete, and I hope we hear something soon. Hope by the next report he has his next fight signed, at least on an undercard of him staying busy. Or I hope to hear the news that he's moving up to 160, you know, if nobody at 154 wants to fight him. So we'll see. Number 3 at 160 pounds, middleweight, is the undefeated Demetrius Andrade, the WBO champion. Andrade is returning Saturday, April 17th. He's going to main event a DAZN card and defend his title against Liam Williams of the United Kingdom. I think Andrade's going to dominate Williams, possibly stop him in the late rounds, but more leaning towards a 12-round decision. But, you know, Williams is hungry. He's talking all the right game. So he's been calling Andrade out. Andrade has a chance to, you know, continue to prove why he should be at the top of the division in his eyes. And he's going to do that April 17th on DAZN. I got him winning a one-sided decision over Williams and retaining his title. We'll see what happens. Number 3 at 168 pounds for me is the former WBA Super Champion and the 2018 World Boxing Super Series winner, Callum Smith of the United Kingdom. Smith, haven't heard what he's going to do next. Not sure we're going to hear anything soon. Smith got his ass whipped, suffered his first loss, lost his world title to Canelo back in December. It's only been 3 months since that fight, or a little over 3 months. I think it's going to take some time. I think Callum Smith could be moving to 175. and, going after it there. He's a big guy at 168, so just got to wait and see what happens, but I think it's probably going to be the summertime before we see Callum Smith back in the ring. Number 3 at 175 is former world title challenger Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr., his biggest opportunity is here. Saturday, April 10th, main event of an ESPN card. He's taking on Maxim Vlasov for the vacant WBO light heavyweight title. Big fight right here. I can't wait to see it. I think Joe Smith is going to win, but I think it's going to be a tough bout. I think he could stop Vlasov in the late rounds, but I also think it could be a firefight and go either way. But I got Joe Smith becoming world champion for his first time, beating Vlasov. I'm going with a decision, but it could end by knockout. And Vlasov could pull off the upset, but Saturday, April 10th, main event of ESPN. Number 3 at 200 cruiserweight is the reigning WBC champion, Ilunga Makabu. Still waiting around to see if the WBC is going to order him to fight Alexei Papin next in a rematch, or a rematch with number 1 contender Tabiso Michunu. Now, the WBC last year said that he had to make 2 mandatory defenses, and he was allotted 1 optional defense. He made that optional defense against Duradola in December, got a 7th round knockout there, retained his title. So, are they going to stick to their word? I know Michunu just guaranteed his mandatory shot when he just stayed busy and got a win recently. So, does that mean Alexei Papin, who hasn't fought since August, is in line to fight Makabu next? We got to see. But I think Makabu is going to fight either Papin or Michunu next. And if the WBC sticking to their order from last year, I'm leaning towards it's going to be Papin first, which I would love to see that fight. Hopefully we hear something by the next report on Makabu's next fight and who it's against. And finally, number 3 in the heavyweight division is the undefeated Deontay Wilder. Well, there's rumors that Wilder hasn't yet, but he's about to win in court and get paid $7 million to officially step aside to allow the fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to happen, which that fight should take place in June or July. Still waiting for a date on it, but that fight is signed and good to go for a 2-fight, $200 million deal. That's the rumor right now, the strong rumor. I still think, I think there's a couple options for Wilder on the table. I think if he's not going to get Tyson Fury next, we know that, and probably at all this year, or Anthony Joshua. So I think Wilder is, after Fury and Joshua decide who's undisputed in the first fight, I think that the WBC is going to name the winner the franchise champion and Dillian White will get upgraded to full champion, and then I think they're going to order Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian White. And if that's the case, I think Wilder's going to knock Dillian White out, and then I think there's a chance of Wilder and Andy Ruiz Jr. towards the end of the year. So, gotta wait and see, but I'm itching to see Wilder back. He has not fought now in over 13 months, and I'm itching to see him back in the ring, back in action against somebody. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we hear something soon. But that's it, guys. That is the best in boxing video right here on all these fighters, from 122 all the way to heavyweight, taking a look at what they're doing, what they could be doing, and who against. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll come back in a couple months with some more updates. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.